Hey everybody, welcome to Ref Time, powered by RTS and produced by Coraggio Media. I'm Tanya.
And I'm Crane. We'll be covering rules, plays, points of emphasis, and all things official. Hey everybody, welcome back to RTS's
Ref Time
with RTS. I guess I said that wrong.
Yeah, it's okay.
I do
But
it all
we're
the
with
time.
Mr. Bennie Lewis today.
It's the great Bennie Lewis.
Well, I don't know how great, but I'm here.
Well, I remember playing against you back in the day, and you used to tell me how great you were when you was trying to dunk on me.
Well, that was because I was trying to dunk on you. You have to set a precedence out there, draw your territory. So, in that particular time, I can tell you right now, we'd be fighting to just jump up and touch the nets these days.
Amen.
Right? Although
Amen.
he'll walk up to kids and be like, man, I dunk on you by accident.
I love
Right.
saying that. And you know how they get. Oh, man, let's go. Man, I have nothing to prove to you. I've forgotten more about basketball than you know, little chump. You know, you got to play that.
I still got a first step, but that's all I got. Can't do nothing after I get past you.
Well, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate having you here.
No problem. I was glad you asked me. I feel honored to be asked. Thank you.
Good. Now, we normally talk to people in the officiating field, but we also like to get in people that have played, people who've coached, and in your case, who've owned. So let's talk a little bit about, let's just start with your profession. So tell the world, how does Bennie relate to basketball?
Oh, it's been in my family since birth. My dad was a high school coach. My dad also played. He played at Langston College in Oklahoma. Right out of there, I was an assistant coach at my high school and then became the head coach of my high school. I played for my dad.
Wow.
And
how was that?
That was tough. It was a lot of tough rides home.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
A lot of tough, it sort of shaped my demeanor for winning and my demeanor for losing. So it was.
Now, pull us into your world a little bit. I always wondered about that, playing under your dad. What kind of conversations did he have with you on the way home? Just give us
Pretty
some
much.
examples.
You shouldn't have taken that shot. You should have taken that shot. Don't be throwing up any old shots, because I was a shot taker.
Okay.
The more shots you take, the more chances of the ball going
Right.
in.
Amen.
Right. Higher percentage.
Yeah, well, more, field goal attempts is also a stat. So
Yes, sir.
So I took a lot of shots. But he was trying to get me to focus more on the other things as well, rebounding, and fitting in. Back when I played, there was no 3-point line, so you had to use the extension of your teammates. So if you had teammates that were good outside shooters, when you needed an outside shot, you got the ball to the outside shooters.
Right.
Guys who penetrated to the basket and obviously penetrated to the basket. I was a penetrator, and penetrate and kick, or penetrate and try to score, or drop it off to the bigs. I slashed from the two position, and also ran the lane. So.
Oh, I know. I remember playing against you. You were a jumping monster.
And so, playing, also ran, so we ran the lanes, and I sort of taking that all the way up into college at Tennessee State.
Okay.
I ran the wing, and then also at Southern Illinois, played that position. Went from there to Australia.
You had a good career in Australia, didn't you?
Had a good career.
How many years did you play in
I
Australia?
played 15 years in Australia.
Oh, wow.
You played professional basketball for 15 years, Bennie?
Yep.
That's not common, is it, to play that long?
Well, I don't know if it's common, but my son just finished his 15th year.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So
Is he going to play again? Is he going to stay on?
yeah, he's playing another.
Okay.
He's on for another year.
So he's going to beat
Wow.
Dad.
He'll beat me.
He's going to play an extra couple
he'll
years.
beat me.
Wow. So now, but you help players go across seas too, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
So,
I do.
But the average player nowadays doesn't play that long, do they?
Well, very few.
Yeah.
Most of them use it between 5 and 10 years.
Right. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Mainly because of the adjustment of living in another country, and they get a little bit homesick, and so they decide to come back, or they have a girlfriend or a wife, and they want to start a family. But it's mainly to get that bug, that basketball bug out of their system. You know, one of the downfalls, one of the things which sort of took me into that area is my career in itself. Just about every other basketball player goes through that actual career of playing high school ball, then playing college ball, and being somewhat of a star or a local star, but they put all of that work in, running lines and suicides and just used to that actual adrenaline rush of playing the sport. Then all of a sudden, one day, one coach, one team, one league says you can't play anymore. Because of grades or because of this, you know, that type of thing. Where you have all of this basketball still left in you.
Yeah.
And
what do you do with that?
What do you do with it?
Yeah.
Well, you know, obviously, I mean, when I first came here, there was only a 30 and over and a 40 and over in Fort Wayne. So
that's where you and I met.
That's where we met. So there was no basketball for guys coming out of college.
Yeah, there wasn't.
There was nothing there for them to actually do. I think there might have been one team called
the Fury?
No, the Family. The Family had a team that was made of Keon Brooks and Ty Wynn. They had a team that used to travel around and play in tournaments and stuff when I first came in. But they weren't old enough to play in the 30 and over. So they used to just play tournaments and stuff. But there was no established leagues or anything else like that in a place like Indiana. You either play college, and after college, you either play college, and after college, if you didn't do that, then you was waiting until you turned 30 to play in the Y leagues and stuff like that. So
I remember those days, and I tell you, it's interesting going back in history on that, because you're right. I remember that there wasn't a lot available, and then the players who were skilled, like yourself, and the ones who played above college. You guys came back, and the main worry was playing against a lot of guys who didn't know how to play on that level, getting hurt.
Well, right.
I mean,
and so you had to wait till you were. I mean, so there was a lot of 20. I mean, I didn't come here until I was like 38. But there was a lot of guys that was 27 and 28 years old that were finishing up their careers overseas. We were talking about that 5-year window. They were finishing up, but they couldn't come back here and play. People like Henry James. Those types of players, when they first came out of the leagues, they had nowhere to play. They had to wait until they were, and obviously different coaches were trying to get them in at 29 and 28.
Henry James was a phenomenal player.
He was a ball player.
I played against him at the downtown Y. I remember one time he took a shot from beyond half court, and it was a game-winning shot. He shot it and walked away and went to the water fountain. It was all net. I turned around and said, how'd you do that? He says, man, I didn't even see you. Right. I mean, he was a phenomenal player.
It was a lot. I mean, Jay Edwards, we had to wait on a lot of players. When I first came here, I came here in 94, had to wait on a lot of players to turn 30 before they could actually, play in, at that time, the strongest competition in Fort Wayne was the old Fort Y 30 and over league.
Yep, Tanya remembers that. She used to go there and watch that all the time.
It was, it was 12, 13, 14 teams strong, and then at that time it was 12, 13 teams strong in the league, and that was everybody in town. Summit Ortho, Kurt Alderman had a team.
I played with
the Williams, the Williams brothers, the North Side team. All of those teams were just that was the league. It was
it was
the league.
It was competitive.
Ex-Fury players were coming in. Andre Patterson played, but they all had to wait until they turned 30.
Yep, I remember that because they brought me in. I think they did the rule differently, and they said they were going to allow 2 of us younger players on each team, so they let us come in at 28.
Right.
And then, they call us young legs. Right. And because we would just run all day long. Right. And they loved having us. But that was a tough league because those guys would hit you hard. They would hit you hard.
You were playing against veterans. Veterans and guys that played in like the Army leagues and stuff like that.
And they didn't want to be shown up by the young legs.
Oh, no. They would hit me upside the head and say, welcome to the league, young legs. Welcome to the league, young legs.
So it was that actual barrier there of guys that was like young 30, between 30 and 35. Yeah. And guys that was like between 35 and 40.
Well, now there's so many leagues. We don't know if we have enough officials for all the leagues that goes on.
Well, and that's a good thing. Yeah. I mean, I can appreciate that because it took a lot of guys, all they really want to do is play basketball.
Yep.
And they,
Yep.
they're not going to join a gym. They're not going to get on a treadmill.
Right.
Just want to play.
They just wanna play.
But they'll go buy some shoes and they'll grab some shorts and they'll come in there and
if they got a ball, they'll
ball until they get tired. And
Yeah.
it's a good father-son thing. Most of them got young kids under 5.
Right.
And what better place to bring them to than a place like McMillan or Spiece at the time to like an open gym or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing else, especially with Fort Wayne's winters. What better place than to bring your kid into that big old space or let them run around on the courts and stuff there while you're working out. So that's what we sort of built. That's what I sort of built here in Fort Wayne with McMillan. And the different places that I've been.
So what are you doing now? I mean, are you still into that industry, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm still in that industry.
Okay.
I'm still in, but I work more now on I've got people placed in those positions so that those facilities are still open.
So what do you actually have a business in that arena?
Yeah, I have a consulting company
That's
called
right.
Flight Basketball Consulting.
Yeah, because you gave me a couple of business cards.
Right.
And tell me the name of it again.
Flight Basketball Consulting. Yeah.
Okay. So tell us exactly, and you may have already, but tell us exactly what Flight Basketball does.
Oh, just about every consult on every facet of basketball. I mean, from building gyms to putting floors down to recommending referee, people that want to be referees, recommending players to play overseas, organizing teams, doing schedules, just anything and everything that goes with consulting. But it's all basketball consulting.
Oh, okay.
Ordering uniforms, sneakers, sponsorship,
Okay.
all of those things. I got my sort of hand in a little bit of everything. Collaborating with everyone, joining, getting leagues together.
Wow.
And that's called Flight Basketball?
Flight Basketball Consulting.
How long has that been operating?
I established the business in 2017 as an all-out company. But I've been doing it as a side business along with working with parks and working with and traveling teams and taking teams and players all over since about 2000.
So
we had AAU teams and that whole business. Yeah. But,
okay. Because I guess we had never really known. Well, like I said, I saw your business cards, but I never really knew what it was
Right.
involved. So, talk a little bit about when you played, and then the kids that you've seen play, and now with what you do with Flight. What is your overall feelings about officials or officiating involved with all of that? Because obviously we can't have a game without officials.
Correct. My take on officials is that
Now, you speaking as a past player, as a coach?
I'm speaking in general.
Okay.
Past player, coach, and how I actually see it.
Okay.
Right. There are governing bodies. Like you got high school, in other words, high school rules, college. Let's go to middle school rules, high school rules, college rules, NBA rules.
Right.
Okay.
Well, there's also a thing called ground rules, right? And where certain tournaments and things like that play. So if you get a high school official, for example, to do a college game, and he doesn't know how to do it, he's out of his league. Or you got a high school official coming in to do it, and you're saying you're playing college rules, and he only knows high school rules.
It's gonna be a
Then
mess.
it's a mess,
Right.
right? Or if you got, say for example, you say you're playing NBA rules, and you got a high school and a college person that's used to doing high school games, and he doesn't necessarily. I mean,
You got a mess.
You got a mess, and so that's where it comes in. What we do, like in the UBA, is we play FIBA rules.
Now, what is the UBA?
The UBA is the Unified Basketball Alliance. That's one of my leagues, and the other one is the Midwest Professional Basketball Association. This all stemmed from the CBA, the Central Basketball Association, and the MPBA, which we then combined the two and made the UBA.
And what was the second one? I got the UBA, and what was the other one?
Midwest Professional Basketball Association,
Midwest,
which is
okay.
called the MPBA. It's a whole big old alphabet soup out there, right? You hear the UBA, the NPBA, the NBL,
The G League, the
G League,
yeah.
all of these different ones, and each one of them obviously has ground rules. And ground rules is if you ever umpired a baseball game, it's called ground rules. Where it might be the out of bounds, the lines are straight, but this area is in play, this area is not in play, that type of thing.
Right.
And so in minor league basketball, you have to go by ground rules because we don't own our stadiums. We don't own the facilities that we play in. So you may go into a place, a basketball court that's marked with high school lines. Right, with hash marks and with hash marks
dealt
and
with that, yes.
Marked with high school lines.
Right.
But they're playing NBA rules,
which does not work.
You see what I'm saying?
It does
and
not.
So work. What you have, so the people that are actually running it, that league or has to create what I call the ground rules, and let those officials know that this is how this tournament is being played. So that's what we do. This is how it's played. This is what we're going to go under. Both coaches know these ground rules are usually set before the game starts, or while the league is going on. So everybody's on the same page. 5 fouls. So there should never be 6 fouls with 40 minutes. A 40-minute game has 5 fouls. A 48-minute game has 6 fouls.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
All of those particular things, those are, and when I say ground rules, those are things that you can do and set prior to the game, so that the two coaches know and the referees know.
Well, the reason I'm smiling is because her and I are smiling at each other, because we know that when we were working with the OBA, we ran into that, and I was talking to it wasn't just that game. I mean, it was all season.
I saw,
and it was a mess because we were trying to tell him, you want so-called pro rules, but you don't have the facility, you don't have the personnel to back those rules up. But anyway,
or the finances.
Yeah, and so we'll
I mean,
we can stay on that conversation for a long time.
That's another thing. So I guess
that's a whole mess.
It is
by like I said, by us being obviously the UBA and the MPBA being our own league. We also certify and train our own officials to be able to do our games the way that we want them done. And so we have officials here in Fort Wayne, we have officials in Memphis, we have officials in Chicago that know exactly the rules of our games.
Who are some of the officials you have in Fort Wayne? Maybe we know them.
Ron Stevenson.
Okay.
Chuck.
Okay. Kirk. Okay.
Yeah. I even used a couple of your guys, Dominique.
Oh yeah.
And Aubrey.
Yeah.
I trained them. I trained them as well to be. And what's the other kid's name?
Johnny.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all those last 3 came through our training.
Yeah. They came through your training, and I knew they were very, very well trained. But they also know the game.
Yeah.
And so by them knowing the game and being it also meant that they were also trainable.
Right.
Yeah. True.
And so all I did was give them the calls, and they had the intestinal fortitude to be able to make a call and stick to it. I mean, and that's when you're dealing with this in this area, the minor league area, where they're not pros, they're not college players, they're
in-betweeners.
They're trying to get to those particular levels.
Right.
So a set of rules have to be set so that we can get the best out of them as far as their play is concerned, without hurting each other. It's better. I mean, it's a lot better than just rec rules. Where you got a couple of guys coming in. They have to be official. They have to know and understand position. I have to do this because my partner is an ex Big 8 official. He's a real stickler about officials as far as his name is Ed Schumer. He's the owner of the MPBA, and he's big on officials. He shirts in, black long, no shorts. We don't want to look like. He's stuck on those types of things.
And his name again is Ed what?
Ed Schumer.
How you spell that?
SCHUMER.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tanya, I know you got a couple questions.
I probably do, but I unfortunately, I think we need to be wrapping up here.
Okay.
So.
Well, the last question I have for you then, Benny, is the need for officials. What needs do you guys have?
We have an event once a month.
Okay.
So just basically the availability of officials. Once a month, we usually do anywhere between a 4 to 6 game showcase, that type of thing, and then we travel around. So it's just the versatility of it and everything. And when we start to expand and we get bigger in 2 courts and have more teams into it, then we will need obviously more officials.
So you guys don't have a hurting need right now for officials in what you guys?
Well, I take that. I won't say that. I will say that there's always a need. You can have more games. You got more officials,
right?
And you can bring more things in and bring more into it. But we just make the adjustment. We make the adjustment based on the amount of players, the amount of teams, the amount of this, and having officials available. And as long as we got officials available that know and understand the way that we want the game, that are workable, I should say. You get cats cats come in there and they're bringing high, and they're stuck on this is the way it's supposed to be. And I'm gonna have guys that say, no, it's only 2 shots, and you get 2 shots on file, and they want to do a 1-and-1, or they want to have 6. They want to have 6 people lined up for the free throw, or they call a goal. Right. Those 6 people when it's only supposed to be 2 on one side, 3 on the other side, and those lanes have to be filled. Okay. It's just certain things, and
people have to be aware of how you do things, right?
And because we control it, it's correctable.
Right.
Okay. It's correctable right then, and it's not an indoctrination against that official. We're all out here trying to get better and trying to understand what it is, because the thing of it is that we want everybody to continue working. We want the players to continue playing. We want the coaches to continue coaching. We want the referees to continue refereeing, and we film everything. All our games are up, so it's not like the head of the league is not watching and seeing what the officiating looks like. We got we got coaches that are critiquing coaches. We got consultants that are critiquing players, and this is going. My last event here in Fort Wayne, I broadcasted to 25 different countries.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing.
Well, we're gonna have to cut off here,
right.
But I just wanted to close out with Tanya. You want to talk a little bit about RTS?
We have our next class starting up in October, the first Monday in October. I don't have that date in my head right now, but if you want to get registered, go to www.reftrainingschool.com. That is reftrainingschool.com.
And then you want to tell them about the upcoming Hoosier.
And our upcoming Hoosier tournament is scheduled for December 31st. Yes, that is New Year's Eve. It is a Sunday, and we are looking to have a holiday hoops. Hoosier Holiday Hoops Tournament. There we go. And you can register for that at www.hoosier3on3.com here in the next week. That will be up and available for you to register.
All right. Well, thank you for all that. And Benny, thank you for educating us. I didn't realize you were into all these things. That's good.
Yeah,
maybe we can have you back in the future.
Be glad to come back anytime.
All right.
Thanks
Appreciate
a lot.
it.
All right. Appreciate you coming out.
Okay.
Take care, everybody. Thanks again for listening to Ref Time, powered by RefTrainingschool.com and Hoosier3on3.com. Produced by Coraggio Media, Ref Time is recorded in WELT Studios in beautiful downtown Fort Wayne, Indiana.
To join RTS, visit reftrainingschool.com. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Until next time.